Catus, Maximus here, this time with another sponsored video. I do appreciate ThruNite sponsoring yet another flashlight. This happens to be the Archer Mini. So this is a very compact lithium-ion USB-C rechargeable little pocket flashlight. Comes in a little basic case that was some desiccant gel to absorb any moisture. You do have a basic little manual here and a short little USB-C cable. And just a super compact flashlight. It does have a metal button. It doesn't have a provision for a lanyard, but I assume you just put something maybe just right here on this little loop here. This is a bi-directional belt clip, so you can clip it on either this direction, and it is pretty stiff. I'm actually kind of surprised this won't really fall out. There we go, it was a little bit stuck. So you can clip it on this way, or you can clip it on this way. So that's not too bad. One thing is interesting is it actually has a sealed charging port. If you look at it, you can't find the charging port. You actually thread this up, and then in here there is your USB-C charging port. There's a tiny little hole. That's where the charging light is. I'll actually put up here a quick image of the charge light. It's red when it's charging and blue when it's charged. So I thought that was kind of interesting that they do that. If you drop it a bunch, it may have a little bit of issue unscrewing, and I do worry about that a little bit. But other than that, I think it's kind of a neat effect. And the fact that it does seal. There is a little O-ring right here, as you can see, and there's a second one up here. So it does actually keep the port sealed. This light does have a lockout. It has a low mode, which lasts a really long time, like 40 hours or something like that. And then it has a high mode. So when it's locked out, it just flashes. If you press and hold, it'll go on low, and this is low mode. Double click gets you high, which is 400 lumens on high. But it does have a thermal protection. Turbo mode lasts about 3 minutes. And then it drops down to around 150 lumens, and it'll last another hour at that level. It does have a strobe. If you click 3 times quickly, 350 lumens when it's in the strobe mode, and you click it again, and it returns to its normal low mode. So this light is 25 bucks. It's a reasonable price. It actually does have a replaceable battery. It's just you have to really twist pretty hard to get the two halves apart. It has a very tiny 10400 lithium-ion cell. That is ultra tiny. That is 10 millimeters in diameter by 40 millimeters long. Just a super tiny little cell. Anyway, let's go outside and do a quick look at how bright it is. So I was indeed mistaken. It is a 10400 cell, but it is indeed permanently installed. Alright, so here we are. This is low, and it's actually just fine for hiking with. And, you know, I wouldn't say maybe not hiking, but walking your dog will last a really long time. I mean, here it is on my shoes. There it is looking at some trees and bushes. Now if we go to turbo, it's actually pretty bright. There's a tree. That tree is probably about, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 feet away, and you can just see it. If we zoom in a little bit, it's okay. But on the ground, this is actually pretty bright. Now, it will start to get too hot, and after about 3 minutes, it will start to dim to around 150 lumens, which is still about 3 times as bright as low mode here. And then of course there's the strobe, which is of course pretty darn bright. But it is kind of neat to have just such a so much brightness in just a little pocket flashlight. And I guess this is the new generation of lights where they're trying to get even more lumens out of even tinier lights. So that's it for the ThruNite Archer Mini. A neat little flashlight. I didn't realize that they had made lights quite so bright. And I think probably one of its best features is the sealed charging port. Since people are going to keep this in their pocket, there's going to be a lot of clogging up. Although it might not be so bad. Other than that, not a lot else to say. I guess one aspect is, even though it does use a pretty specialized 400 10 millimeter by 40 millimeter lithium ion cell, it still would have been nice to actually have it be replaceable, just for those situations where somebody may want to get some extra batteries, or actually, you know, ThruNite doesn't make bad products, so I would assume that this flashlight could certainly last longer than the lifetime of the cell. It would just be nice to replace it. Other than that, I really appreciate everybody who's been watching and subscribing, and if you haven't subscribed, please do. Until next time, Catus Maximus out.